Are you raising your vibration the wrong way? Let me ask you something that might sound simple, but could completely change how you see manifestation. Have you ever tried to raise your vibration? By staying positive, by repeating affirmations, by visualizing your ideal life, only to feel like something still isn't clicking. At first it feels exciting, you're motivated, you feel like you're finally doing something different, you expect results. But after a while, maintaining that high vibration starts to feel forced, and instead of feeling aligned, you feel pressure, like you're constantly trying to hold a state that doesn't come naturally. If that sounds familiar, there's a reason for it, and it's not what most people think. The popular approach to high vibration. Most advice around raising your vibration is built on a simple idea. Think positive, feel good, focus on what you want. The assumption is that if you can maintain a positive emotional state long enough, your external reality will begin to match it. And there's some truth to that. Your emotional state influences your behavior. Your behavior influences your decisions. Your decisions influence your results. But here's the problem. This approach focuses almost entirely on what you do consciously, and it ignores a much deeper system that's always running in the background. The subconscious system running your state. Your subconscious mind is responsible for your default emotional patterns. It stores your past experiences, your emotional reactions, your beliefs about money, success, and life. And these elements create your baseline state. So even if you try to feel positive consciously, your subconscious may still be operating with patterns that don't match that state. For example, you may try to feel abundant, but subconsciously associate money with stress. You may try to feel confident, but subconsciously expect things to go wrong. That mismatch creates tension. Why forcing positivity backfires? Here's where most people unknowingly make things harder for themselves. They try to override their internal state. They tell themselves, I need to stay positive. I can't think negatively. I have to keep my vibration high. But when you try to force an emotional state that doesn't match your internal conditioning, something subtle happens. You create resistance. Part of your mind is trying to push upward. Another part is pulling you back to what feels familiar. And that internal conflict drains energy. The hidden cost of trying too hard. Over time, this effort becomes exhausting. You start monitoring your thoughts constantly, correcting every negative idea, trying to control every emotional reaction. And eventually, it starts to feel like work. Not natural alignment, but maintenance. This is often when people begin to feel like manifestation isn't working. But in reality, they're using a method that only addresses the surface. What vibration actually reflects. Instead of thinking of vibration as something you create artificially, it helps to think of it as something you reveal. Your vibration is not just your current mood. It's the result of your beliefs, your emotional patterns, your internal expectations. So if those elements are not aligned, your overall state will feel inconsistent. You might feel positive for a moment, but then fall back into doubt or stress. Not because you failed, but because the underlying system hasn't changed yet. The role of subconscious resistance. Subconscious resistance is often the missing piece. It shows up as hesitation when opportunities appear, doubt when you try something new, inconsistency in your actions. These patterns don't feel like resistance, they feel like normal reactions. But over time, they slow down progress. And when progress slows down, it becomes easy to blame the technique. The difference between surface change and deep change. Most vibration-based techniques focus on surface change. They try to adjust your thoughts in the moment. But deeper change involves adjusting the patterns that create those thoughts in the first place. That's a different process. It's not about forcing yourself to feel better. It's about understanding why you feel the way you do, and gradually shifting that. Why alignment feels different. When your internal system begins to align, something interesting happens. You don't need to force positivity anymore. You don't need to constantly correct your thoughts. Your emotional state becomes more stable. Confidence feels more natural. Decisions feel clearer, and action becomes more consistent. This is what people often describe as being in flow. Not because everything is perfect, but because there's less internal friction. A more effective way to approach it. Instead of asking, "How do I stay high vibration all the time?" a more useful question might be, "What's happening beneath the surface that's influencing my state?" That question changes everything. Because now you're not trying to control your mind. You're trying to understand it. And understanding leads to real change. The first step. Most people skip. The first step isn't forcing new thoughts, it's awareness. Pay attention to your automatic reactions, your emotional patterns, your expectations around success and money. What feels natural to you? What feels uncomfortable? Those signals reveal your current conditioning, and once you see it clearly, you can begin to shift it. What happens when you stop forcing it? When you stop trying to force your vibration and start working with your internal patterns, something shifts. You feel less pressure. You feel more clarity. Your actions become more aligned with your goals, and over time, that alignment creates momentum. Not overnight results, but real consistent progress. Final thoughts. If raising your vibration has felt difficult or unnatural, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It may simply mean you've been focusing on the surface without addressing what's underneath. Real alignment comes from understanding your internal patterns, not forcing temporary states. And once you start working at that level, everything begins to feel different. On this channel, we explore these deeper mechanisms, how subconscious beliefs influence your emotional state, your decisions, and your results. If this resonates with you and you want to go deeper into these ideas, make sure to subscribe. In future videos, we'll break down how these patterns form and why certain approaches create faster internal shifts than others. And if you're curious about the framework that focuses specifically on identifying and addressing the subconscious patterns behind slow manifestation, you can explore the resources linked in the description and the pinned comment below. They connect directly to what we discussed today and offer a deeper look into the process. Take your time, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next video.